Where is that coming from? My goodness. All right, and we're live on 3 out of 3 platforms now. We got a few minutes to go before we officially start the show, but thank you so much for tuning in. Let us know in the chat if you're here. I should be able to see it, probably. But we'll see. I might see it like 20 minutes late.
Is there a link to stream this live?
Yeah, so it should now be like, you should see it on like Facebook. Go to like, which page is it on there? I think it's on Snide Stream on there, because that's issues with the River Hallowsqueeze Facebook. But yeah, if you go to Snide Studios, it should be up, able to post places and whatnot. 3 minutes, just enough time to take a picture.
Yeah. There he is.
Where? Okay, that would be.
This place is an internet dead zone.
Yeah, I have the info.
Yeah. Hell of a password.
Let's go golfing. In life, there's roadblocks. Right.
All right, we'll be officially live in just a minute, folks. Go ahead and find your seats.
Oh, you still have the old post information.
I updated it. Dang it. I updated it on here, but it didn't update on there.
It's all good. You got 46 seconds.
Yeah. So probably everywhere it's got the wrong info. Goodness. Thanks, Restream. That's something I've got to figure out with this site. We're for the record, we're not talking hashtag InkLife if you're watching this remotely. We're sitting down with 2 of the coolest dudes I know, honestly. Goodness. So we're just going to just totally... do that, and then, oh goodness. All right, all right. Howdy, howdy. Welcome, folks, to the new River Valley Squeeze. Corey, the curator, the host of this Bazaar of the Bazaar this evening. Music and sound are provided by XP38 Music. Some writing and visuals provided by Snide Studios. And let's welcome our special guests for the evening, Dwayne Boyd, frontman of the Ziggurat, and a clown who is always down, Joe the Baker Bridges.
Hey.
Let's break off some slices of our life, guys, and catch up with what we've been up to. Let's play that track. So, I have had Dwayne and Joe on my podcast, The Snide Show, which this show spun off of, where I interviewed them. So if you want to know a little bit more about them, go check those episodes out. Just Google The Snide Show, and those episodes are available on all your favorite platforms. Gentlemen, what have each of you been up to? Dwayne?
Well, I've been spending the last 5 months in the studio, banging my head against a desk, working with the guys on the new album, which will be coming out by December. It'll be the remake of The Plague of the Pallid Mask, which is our classic album from 2008. It's the one that put us on the map in the Mythos and Cthulhu community, got us listed on hplovecraft.com. So we're real excited to touch this album. The guys, Matt, Sterling, and Steve have really added their own touches to it and really brought it over the edge and gave it an aggression and a new spirit. So I'm really excited for everyone to hear these tracks. We've released the newest track on the album, And the Hills Were Silent, as the single for this release, which is really an exciting song to do. The original album of The Plague of the Pallid Mask from 2008 had a hidden track on it, back when CDs had hidden tracks.
I remember those days.
You had to listen for a couple tracks after the fact of Silence to finally get to it. And it was a cover song of the theme song of Silent Hill 1. And so when we were doing the remake for this one, instead of just recovering it, we decided to write one from the ground up, go make it grandiose, go full scale on it, lots of video game tones, mega atmosphere. And it was released on October 8th, the same day as the new Silent Hill 2 remake game. So tried to line it all up and get the promotion.
Get trending.
Put on that.
Get trending. That's awesome.
But it's got a good response so far. Excited to get everything else finished and get it knocked out of the park and destroy people's sanity with it.
Hell yeah! I'm looking forward to, having my sanity tested even more. The Ziggurat's tunes are fantastic, folks. If I wasn't afraid of being deplatformed, I would play some of it right now. Their metal has a certain rhythm that I think is rare in the genre. I'm not really a metal guy, but I'm legitimately one of those annoying all genres guys. I'm more attracted to like themes, sounds, patterns, and with my love of mythology and horror, it's no wonder that I've been enamored with you guys ever since discovering.
Yeah, we try to touch base on horror and mythology at all times. And before we move on, I'd like to point out that this album artwork that you're seeing now, this is the first time it's been revealed to the public at all. This is done by an artist by the name of Rudy Gorging Suicide, who's done countless albums for many major and sub bands out there. So we were really excited to have him involved. He also did our last artwork for the Ia single we did. Yeah. And like having him on board, he's really definitely got a vision. When I send him just simple ideas, he's really able to turn it into something truly horrifying.
Yeah. The composition and the execution of like your compositions, recorded and live, are great. Your brother, Sterling, right?
Yeah, Sterling.
He keeps a beat like a metronome. I've been to a few shows, and they're unlike any others. Like at the last show at the Milk Parlor, costume party, there was honestly a moment where I thought a kaiju was going to come up through the cement, you know, or like some giant tentacles were just going to come like smacking around.
It must have been during the song Mosh Monster.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally about doing that and summoning something into the crowd to take them out.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But Temple Priest Reverend D. Boyd here isn't the only master of the dark arts I have to bring in Samhain. I also have here the greatest joke writer I've ever met and fellow user of free speech, Joe Bridges. What's new and old, Joe?
I've been doing comedy in Tennessee.
Great. That's great, Joe. I'm so glad that, you know, that you're still out there hammering, man, hammering them stages.
I actually did a dark show this past Saturday, like all dark material, which it's nice because that's not something I get to do often.
Yeah, yeah.
But the hurricane destroyed my business. I know that's what you want me to talk about. Hurricane Helene came through my town and devastated a good portion of it, including where my business was located. And it's added a lot of sadness to my comedy, which was already very sad. I'm just going to try to be as dry as possible.
Yeah, no, I
Stephen Wright would be proud.
All right, I'll turn it off. No, things have been good. My family's doing well. I got 2 daughters and a wife. We're all thriving. I just started working with a new restaurant, so I am back to baking, which is nice.
yeah, it's good shit. It's good shit.
Yeah, everything's been real good.
Yeah, all things considered, you know, and that's what I love about someone like you. You know, you can face the darkness and still bring a little bit of light, a little bit of levity. But as you said, you know, you're not only a roaster, but also a baker. So I've had the pleasure of sampling a couple of your decadent delights. If you're local to his area, I'm putting the screen up right now that's got all the information there, folks. You know, if you're looking to sample, you know, something for your...
I'm just wondering where the samples are.
Currently,
Sir.
I'm only baking for this restaurant. I don't even get to eat the stuff.
I
So
will try those samples.
you got to drive a good hour and a half.
Hey, if Sarah is watching, Sarah is probably pretty close to that Damascus area.
There you go.
The next time I come up, I won't be empty-handed.
Fantastic.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So yeah, we got the information on screen for folks, you know, and then also, you know, the Instagram, Joe's Not Joking, where you can see some of his not jokes, and it's hilarious stuff, you know.
It's crazy though. There's like no crossover really. Like a lot of the people in my town love my baked goods, but they don't care for my jokes about, you know, morbid things and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not all bright and cheery, and most people are. It's a very pleasant town that I live in, and I like to be the black sheep.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, the German chocolate. The German chocolate.
I mean, I don't know if I'd say German chocolate. I'm Jewish.
I've got monitoring on. All right, let me see what's going on here with I'm monitoring apparently. So there's some feedback.
We're all being monitored right now by the government
There you go.
and multiple agencies that follow streaming platforms, waiting for us to say hot
think
point
so.
words that set off sensors that.
Like my vaccine is itching.
Right, and you don't want to get these guys
There's a
shadow
lump
banned.
where it was.
That's not good, man.
Flashes at night.
I
Right, okay.
blame the vaccine for my neurodivergent problems, but I had them for years.
We'll say it exacerbated them.
No, what it really did exacerbate my issues, though, was during the pandemic, I had a health scare, and it was an absolute nightmare.
Along with the rest of the planet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to have my first rectal exam, and that wasn't in the cards.
You do know that it doesn't have anything to do with like corona, right? You didn't have to
Yeah,
have that.
but because of the risk of COVID, I had to do it over Zoom.
Which, you know, so the real reason I brought you guys here was to talk to you about goats.
Goats?
My bad. Not those goats. Sorry, not those
Like
goats.
the greatest?
No, I don't know what happened here. I don't know where that came from.
Verizon refused to replace my phone. It was a whole big thing.
I don't.
Oh, goats.
Goats. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Goats, a symbol of pastoral rebellion. Evil incarnate or misunderstood mammal? Let's find out tonight.
Let's find out.
They're delicious.
They are delicious.
They're very good. You have a curried goat. It's real good. It's like I was surprised when I moved here that people don't really eat goats. Because I grew up in Miami where you eat goats.
I figure where you're at, goat eating is probably pretty normal, so I'm surprised to hear you say that.
No, they milk them. They just milk them.
Well, that's for recreational. I mean, they actually eat them.
No, they don't. They don't eat them. They just milk them.
Yeah.
Did you say
Yeah, they do that every
recreational?
time.
So, yeah, goats.
Goats.
I've got some interesting video clips for us to chomp on that feature some interesting goat stuff. Yeah, so here's the first one I've got.
All right, what we got here?
Got a goat in a cave. And just look at that guy. Look at that rascal.
Just hanging out in his hidey hole.
That thing has weapons on its head. Like,
Well, I don't know about that.
those seem.
They're extra long.
Yeah, they're like
I'll
dangerous.
just wait till it pans out.
Yeah.
Clearly, dark forces allowed him to get into that hole.
How did he get up there? Like, did he teleport up there? Like, what the hell?
I didn't even think that ants had goats. I thought goats were only like human size.
That does look like an ant colony's goat.
That's impressive.
It is. I love it. You got some more rascally behavior here. These are palm tree goats. I don't know if you've ever heard of palm tree goats.
Fun fact, if those goats also startled, they would just die. You know how when you startle a goat, it stiffens up and just falls over?
Faints.
Yeah, if there's a 10-foot fall involved, I don't think it survives.
Challenge someone to get 10 fainting goats in a palm tree.
And I've heard of people like getting like hit by like a coconut or something that falls out of one of those trees, and like it hits them, and like it's like the
This is
the
a whole
family's
new
suing
danger.
Dole for the rest of their lives.
Right here.
But if that falls on you,
Yeah,
if that
straight
goat falls, on
gored
you,
through the skull.
could you imagine?
So there's like a weird thing that happened a couple of years ago with a coconut company that I used to get supplies from.
Yeah.
And they got shut down for employing illegal monkey slaves. They were using illegal monkey slave labor, and they got shut down completely. This could revolutionize that industry.
Oh,
You
they need
send
to
goats
start-
up the trees.
Yep, start sending. See, this guy's an entrepreneur. He's diversifying with his portfolio between the bacon and the jokes. But not only that, like, listen to this guy.
I have
He's got
ideas, guys.
He's got
I have
ideas.
ideas.
Thinking outside the box. I like it.
Yeah, because monkeys are too people-like,
Thinking-
You don't want to force something that's a person-like thing to work.
Yeah,
but
so
a goat,
abuse
fuck
everything
it.
else.
Go. I can't humanize a goat. Some people have. I can't.
There's a lot of people that humanize goats.
Yes.
But I think those people also fetishize them, so we won't go into that.
All right. So what's? Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is like the Matrix,
Yeah.
man.
Parkour goat. I heard that out there.
Parkour goat, yeah. It's,
If these videos keep on impressing me, I'm going to start fetishizing goats.
I mean, it's already a done deal.
well, this one can walk around.
Yeah, look at what it's got behind it, too. Hell yeah.
It's leading that chicken around.
Yeah, chicken.
Yeah, well, what are they doing in that?
Yeah, it's straight walking like Black Phillip.
Speaking of, now this one right here, this is what brought on this whole episode, folks.
That goat is clearly a sadist.
Yeah, baptism by fire.
Is that
What in the world?
is that how the goat shaves his beard off?
I mean, clearly.
I think that's just smart.
Just keep
Like,
it-
I'm suddenly wondering if that goat is actually brown and has just been doing that for a while.
He's been going to Falcon Car Wash to get his hair cut. I don't know if you guys have seen Fed Smoker. Look it up.
Hey, but look at his chest and look at his feet. It doesn't look like normal coloration. He
Whoa.
might have been doing this for a while.
Whoa.
I think that goat just watches a lot of TikTok where they show the barbers using fire to cut people's hair.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's like a
Yeah, they use
thing?
swords,
Oh
they use
my
fire, they use all kinds of wacky shit.
Keep the swords away from the goat.
What in the world? Yeah. All right. So, yeah, I mean, this is a whole, speaking of TikTok, this is just a whole lane, like a whole rabbit hole on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Clips like these, as well as like schizos in the commenters that are convinced that there's something inherently evil going on here with all of these clips. It's all seemingly very mysterious, but I may have answers. Let's dig through the shit to find the kernels of truth.
Seen that on the dollar bill.
Yeah, so tonight on InfoScan, we delve into the dark underbelly of pastoral innocence. The wild, the weird, goats. How did these little all-natural lawnmowers go from being, just what they are to a symbol of dark forces? Like, what do y'all think of these pets so far?
I think they're awesome, and they're definitely metal.
Yeah?
I think it might just be because they're chaotic.
Yeah.
It's like a chaotic animal. It'll eat anything. It'll jump over a fence. It'll be on your roof.
Yeah.
It will hide in your tree.
Yeah, they are definitely the chaotic neutral of the, or maybe even chaotic good, as we may see. For those of you that play,
We'll say they've been given a bad rap.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to get into.
I think if they had round pupils instead of the Kermit the Frog pupils.
The Kermit pupils are, yeah.
No, their eyes are some of the best eyes in the animal kingdom.
I understand
They're so
that,
cool
but they
looking.
just, I mean, as far as how they freak people out and make people think they're evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's take a stroll down ancient memory lane. Sumer, where goats weren't just lawnmowers, they were sacred little rascals, offering up not just their milk and meat, but their very lives in sacrifice to gods of fertility and agriculture. In the dusty pages of Akkadian and Ugaritic texts, I just learned about that one, goats were sacrificed to appease deities. These little guys were symbols of sustenance and survival, used in rituals for gods like Dumuzu, later known in later texts as Tammuz, a shepherd god associated with fertility and vegetation. Which brings me to this burning question. Dwayne, Joe,
if you were ever to consider sacrificing a goat, then what for? Better audiences, unused chord progressions, or that golden egg of a super viral one-liner?
Sacrifice a goat for dinner.
For dinner, that's an appropriate animal. Or
Yeah,
appropriate
no,
answer.
Yeah, no, hands down.
Yeah.
You've had goat, it's fantastic.
I love your
Have it out there. Anything else is nonsense.
Yeah. Is that what's on the gyro? Is that what's on the gyro?
I wouldn't call art nonsense. I don't know. Are you familiar with Gallagher?
Yes. Yes.
Gallagher.
Well, then you know what my plan is. I'm going to sell tickets, and the first couple of rows are going to wear raincoats, and I'm going to smash that goat.
Smash it.
Make sure I get
they
the
were
dates
using,
for
like,
this.
knives and-
I'll have a rabbi present so that it's all kosher and certified.
There you
And
go.
Fantastic.
we'll make sure the meat gets used as it is pre-tenderized, and probably will have to be ground into hamburger.
Pre-tenderized, right?
Please field dress
A
it first.
giant mallet.
No waste, head to tail. I'll make jewelry with the bones.
Well, these were both very creative answers.
Come on, mine was practical.
No, actually, yes. No, that was practical. You're right.
Things
His
could
was
be
so
delicious.
out of the pen.
How
that
would
I
you
was
cook
just-
it? How would you cook a goat?
I'd hand it to my wife. Serve it up.
I'm glad I asked.
So moving on in history, later this act evolved into the ancient Hebrew traditions. From Genesis, God instructs Abram to bring a goat as part of a covenant ritual. He said to me, "Bring me a heifer 3 years old, a female goat 3 years old, a ram 3 years old, and two turtle doves and one young pigeon." I was wondering if that's where that came from. I was wondering
And a
if that's where-
partridge in a pear tree?
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Like, I was reading that. I was like, oh.
Yeah, one of everything.
Yeah. They got rid of the goats and the cow in lieu of more birds.
There you go. Joseph's brother slaughtered a goat to fake his death. And then Leviticus with the epitomal scapegoat ritual, Levitical law, where a goat symbolically carries the people's sins and misfortunes into the wilderness to Azazel. And this is one of, I think, the sweeter goat rituals. You just take it to release it. That's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's one of the first incarnations of vicarious redemption, where the sins of the community were put upon a single individual to go suffer on its own, even though it was a pure being.
Wow. See, and this is exactly why I brought this guy on here for this.
Vicarious redemption. There you go.
Yeah. It's like the pardoning of the turkey or whatever that we do in America.
But morally wrong.
Yeah, smash that thing.
Yes, Gallagher it is.
And then a later passage in Exodus commands, "You shall not boil a young goat in its mother's milk," which I think that makes sense.
Well, that's just doing it dirty.
Yeah. Numbers carries on with goat sacrifice, and also one male goat for a sin offered to the Lord shall be offered besides the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Isaiah is part of a peaceful vision of the Messiah's reign. The wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the young goat. Yuck. But with the goat being contrasted with the lamb here, which is that's very ancient, symbology. The leopard, a feline, opposed to the wolf, a canine. These animalistic archetypes. You see it repeated all over the world. It's like we were talking about on your episode when you came on to the Snide Show. We talked about this, how it's very interesting. You see like the same symbols, kind of passed down.
Yeah, it's a very cyclical cycle to
Cycle.
every culture's interpretation from it. The book Demonology and Devil Lore by what was his name? Moncure Conway breaks these kind of things down really simple. Like the lamb was taken by the wolf. The lamb is a very defenseless creature, and the wolf is something that stalks the plains.
Yes,
but
yeah.
in contrast to the goat, which is a very resilient being that can exist on almost anything and survive harsh circumstances, the only thing that can take it out, like we saw in the goat on the cliffside, would be a leopard, something that
Whoa,
can match.
climb up there.
Yeah, it's the only thing that can match its ability to do those things.
See,
the
it
wolf
seems
could
like-
not go to the goat.
Yeah.
You said leopard. I thought you said leper.
Leopard, that's what
Like
you'd expect,
a leper
right?
laying with a goat. And I'm like, maybe that's where Don't Sleep with Kids comes from.
I thought you were going to say that's where the spots came from.
Oof.
But, yeah, I was passing right over that one. So, the
Skin falling off while you're laying with the goat. That's
Well, I mean,
just painted a really
just
awesome
little,
picture.
Just a little part of skin if it's about
yeah, so
Levitical law.
It's all fascinating, and it seems like nonsense until you, like he said, you break it down kind of from this sociological standpoint, you know. But moving on with more mythology here. Here's where it gets really interesting as we follow the symbolic trail westward. In pagan traditions, goats continue to play a vital role, especially in fertility rituals. The Greek god Pan, who had the legs and horns of a goat, was a symbol of shepherds, the wild, and fertility. Pan's association with procreation and his animalistic nature represented untamed primal forces. And then in Rome, the Lupercalia festival involved the sacrifice of goats to promote fertility. These hides of the goats, as well as dogs, were used to fashion whips, which were believed to enhance the fertility of women who were struck by them. Kinky. So it's, you know, and again, you kind of see the goat with, like, the dog. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but, like, you know, just, again, it was interesting, another canine there with, you know.
Like Pan clearly does have the legs and horns of a goat, but he's also all man if you look at that statue.
Yeah, he's packing a little bit.
Fertility, guys, fertility. It's art. Let's be mature about this, guys.
Art.
I'm sorry.
All right.
I mean, someone spent time on that.
It's a statue, but it's also been hung.
Here's something a little more clean for you guys. So, enter demonism. So, in the Christian New Testament, goats and sheep were split right down the middle, one symbolizing the faithful and humble, the other a little more rebellious. In the famous parable from Matthew 25, sheep are shown as obedient followers, docile and dependent on their shepherd, a metaphor for believers embracing God's will. Meanwhile, goats, not so much. It was kind of, and it was more like, as we'll talk about here in a minute, like internal, like an internal threat. You know, the wolf comes from outside, but, you know, the goat is in the farm or whatever.
The goat is independent.
They were cast further as symbols of stubbornness and rebellion, independent to a fault, embodying defiance of divine order. Their behavior, often independent and hard to herd, naturally lent itself to this metaphor of rejecting the shepherd's guidance. But goats didn't just stand in for internal rebellion. In medieval Christian iconography, they're joined by other darker symbols of defiance, the serpent of Eden, twisting and deception, or the wolf lurking just beyond the flock, an external threat. While the serpent and the wolf represent threats from the outside, the goat became something more intimate, a bridge to internal descent, a creature choosing its own wild path. These symbols began long traditions of demonizing the untamed, amoral forces of the wilderness. Yeah, you see that one there? He's got like a instead of a shepherd's crook, it's like a serpent. It's crazy.
Well, the whole religious split between sheep and goats has existed for thousands of years.
Yeah.
As I said a moment ago, the sheep was always the innocent, the vulnerable, something to be protected, which is why it needs a shepherd.
What's crazy is that I thought like the whole furry thing was a recent sensation, but it's been happening for a long time.
Welcome to Earth, sir.
Yeah, it really is. So this brings us naturally to Baphomet, the goat-headed Hermetic figure who became emblematic of Satanism and occultism as early as the Crusades. In the 12th century, the Templar Knights were accused of worshiping an idol called Baphomet, which was later reinterpreted as a goat-headed figure in occult imagery. This Baphomet solidified in Eliphas Levi's 1856 illustration. I'm sorry.
Eliphas Levi.
You say
Eliphas Levi.
There you go. Initially, the image was steeped in mysticism, an embodiment of arcane knowledge and Hermetic philosophy, but over time, as Christianity continued to interpret symbols of the natural and primal as chaotic or malevolent, Baphomet took on a darker, more sinister role, right? And I mean, like, I can't blame him. That's a pretty spooky.
Now the image of Baphomet was never originally intended to have a dark tone to it at all. It was meant to be more of a balanced nature. He's in the magician's pose, which is a hand pointing up and down, which is the as above, so below philosophy.
Right.
Which also falls similarly rudimentarily into the yin and yang. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction.
Yeah, and in physics too.
Yeah, but it was never given a negative aspect really until the 1800s when Christianity really started expanding in a political level throughout the Americas, and they needed to find iconography to attach to that.
Probably because he has such a sweet rack.
Hey, you
and
leave
everybody
his
got
sweet
real
rack alone.
conservative.
It's their sweet rack.
Maybe if they would have put a bra on,
Yeah.
they would have gotten a seat at the table.
Clearly, it's an androgynous being. But yeah, it was never intended to be scary, and a lot of people think he's doing something spooky in this pose. But no, it's called a magician's pose. It's about the knowledge of as above, so below, which you can look up on your own.
Right on, right on. Well, sure, the Prince of Darkness didn't have enough going on. He needed goat legs too, you know. So seriously, the transformation from fertility symbol to chaos incarnate wasn't accidental. The goat's connection to gods like Pan, as we said, the wildness of nature.
If I learned anything from Pan, then Baphomet is also packing.
Yeah, so
That's a caduceus, sir.
Oh yeah, I can see that's a medical device.
Moving on to, as Dwayne said, you know, it was kind of a more recent thing that all of this took such a dark turn. Everything went goth, you know, demonic goats in media. Perhaps in film it began with Haxan of 1922. This documentary-style silent film explored witchcraft and demonic rituals, portraying the devil as a goat-headed figure a la medieval beliefs in demonology and witchcraft, where goats were often considered symbols of sin. It continued with The Devil Rides Out by Dennis Wheatley in 1934. It was a horror novel. The central antagonist is an evil cultist who summons a demon in the form of a goat, depicting the animal as a dark symbol of dark worship. Such goat imagery continued in novels and films throughout the 60s and 70s, including Rosemary's Baby, Blood on Satan's Claw, The Devil's Reign, all throughout Europe and the Americas. And this continued throughout media over the decades, culminating most famously in The Witch from 2015, perhaps the most iconic modern portrayal of a demonic goat. The Witch centers on Black Phillip, a black goat in a Puritan family who may or may not be an embodiment of a demon. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Drawing on themes of satanic panic, witch hunts, witchcraft. Dwayne, I feel like the imagery that H.P. Lovecraft used, which you find as a muse very often, was usually more subversive, but do you recall like any Lovecraftian works that featured goat-like symbolism?
I wore the shirt tonight.
Go ahead and stand up, give the folks at home.
Take it off, pass it around the audience.
Right on.
This particular artwork is by Dave Carson, Lovecraftian artist luminary. One of the main gods in the pantheon is known as Shub-Niggurath, which is the black goat of the woods with 1,000 young. It is one of the most primordial gods of Lovecraftian mythology.
Interesting.
It's pretty much spawned every god you can think of from his works. With a mating with Yog-Sothoth, produced a child named Nug and Yeb, who are the parents of Cthulhu and Athakwa. So Shub-Niggurath is one of the oldest gods in the pantheon, spawned everything going on with it. But she also has lots of children called dark young, which are like a mass of tentacles with tree trunk-like goat legs. So there's lots of goat imagery involved in H.P. Lovecraft. Well, not lots, but when you get to Shub-Niggurath, it really steeps it and brings it home.
Yeah, and he would have been like, I guess, like an earlier, on the timeline, if a lot of this started like in the 1800s, where on the timeline was he as far as like catching on to that trend?
Lovecraft?
Yeah,
the 1920s.
1920. So he was kind of it was a bit of a throwback almost for him to be like, hey,
well,
you guys remember this was
Well,
really creepy?
he took all the science fiction and supernatural that was going on at the time, and made this giant amalgamation of it, and what he called the Yog-Sothoth theory, which August Derleth later coined as the Cthulhu mythos. And most things we know about Shub-Niggurath aren't from Lovecraft. It was referenced very vaguely as a passing mention in the stories, and only after August Derleth took over the rights did he actually like dig in knuckle deep and try and flesh out some of these characters to give them some depth. One of his other most famous goat-like characters is the son of Yog-Sothoth, the one that's more human, named Wilbur Whately, who is a human, but he always wears baggy pants because he's got the satyr legs underneath
that's
him.
the word, satyr. Yeah.
As well as, of course, copious tentacles coming out of his belly button, because you can't have him without tentacles.
Yeah, you can't have a Lovecraft monster without tentacles.
You mentioned some of the more contemporary art with goats presented in satanic ways, but you didn't mention what's got to be the most obvious one to me I remember from my childhood, the old McDonald song.
Where the goat goes by?
Yeah.
And then they tell you about that for a little bit?
No, the goat eats your soul, from what I...
From the
Isn't that the way the song
We
goes?
heard a
I don't want to
different
get
song.
copyright flagged, but can you recite it, or is that gonna
Sing
get me
it
in
how
trouble?
you remember it.
Old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O, and on his farm he had a goat, and it ate my soul. Yeah, that's how the song ends. Because
This is
otherwise
what
the
your
song
mother
never-
taught you? Your mother taught you this version?
No, this is what they teach you in Miami, because it's a liberal slum.
Oh, boy.
That's why I moved to the Bible Belt.
Florida man moves to Virginia.
So, upon researching this subject, well, first, actually, I forgot, I actually did throw in a little clip from, The Vitch, the Vavavitch. If you've never seen this movie, here's the famous goat.
I watched that movie, and I skipped to the end, and I laughed so hard. I laughed so hard at the end of that movie that it was so funny that I showed my daughter. I showed my daughter the end of the movie. She's only 10.
Because of the butter?
No, because of like all the naked witches laughing and flying, and I'm like, what is happening? And my daughter's like, this is hilarious.
Out of context, the witch.
Man, the apple doesn't fall far, does it?
No, not at all.
You know,
Sense
the
of
witch
humor
was
passed
such
right.
a slow burn of a movie.
Yeah, it had
but
fast
it was
2 minutes.
it was so powerful in its delivery. I love the fact that it was low budget, it was closed environment, and it still managed to pack a huge punch.
I don't have the patience and the attention span to sit through a normal movie anymore.
I know,
Even
showing
now,
a 2-minute clip, I feel like.
I'm looking at the emoji in the corner of the screen that you have of a politician. That's what that is, right?
Fantastic.
In a sense.
It's the politician emoji.
Yeah. You really got to dig through the scat to get to the info there. Yeah.
You know, if he had left the goat alone, it would have been fine.
That's what I was. So I was a Black Phillip sympathizer. Like,
Oh, totally,
I was
totally.
like, just leave him alone. Just
Yeah.
leave him alone, everyone.
This is your Black Fin. Black Phillip is your killer whale.
Yeah, well, I just, I really sympathize with, like, up until the end, and maybe I really got fooled, but up until the end, I was like, they're crazy. They're just crazy. And then the end happens, and then you're like, oh, well, Well, I'm the silly one.
I mean, they all got what they deserved, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
that's what the-
So I wanted
Now,
to
wait,
know.
let's talk about that movie for one more second, though. And we're way past spoiler barrier. If you haven't
Yeah.
seen this movie, I'm sorry, you don't get to complain. I was watching this movie and I had no idea what to expect. And
Yeah.
the moment it panned to that scene of the woman pulverizing the child in her mortar and pestle, I was about lost.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, wow, this movie's awesome. I can't believe they showed that. And then the rest of the movie was just this slow
It's very slow,
build
but
up.
I was on this.
I'm
the-
so
the
glad I
corner of my seat.
skipped.
I feel like it's what I wanted.
It was great though, but
I missed the
that
mortar and pestle
opening. I was
scene.
just like, oh my god, really?
Oh, I didn't even see that part. That was the opening? Wow.
Yeah, go watch the opening. It's
The
fantastic.
rest of it is so like kind of overshadows.
I just feel like as a chef, I'd be criticizing her technique using the mortar and pestle.
I want.
Be like, that's
you
not
must
the
watch
way
this.
I would butcher a child.
I want your review. Awesome movie.
Well, upon researching the subject, finding that the whole world of creepy goat clips, I wanted to know why. Like, why are goats the way that they are?
Because they're delicious. I said that at the beginning. They have to be crazy as a self-defense.
Well, call me savage because I'm about to bust some myths.
Bust them.
Goats evolved from the wild goat, Capra agagrius, originating in the Near East Mountains. Their physiology and behavior reflect adaptations that made them highly successful in rugged, nutrient-scarce environments. These evolutionary traits, such as exceptional climbing skills, a robust digestive system, and defensive social behaviors, allow goats to thrive despite limited resources and predator threats. Their agricultural role, domesticated for approximately 10,000 years, goats have historically provided milk, meat, fiber. Their adaptive. I'm sorry. This new clown nose that I'm wearing is actually really like blocking my reading vision. I didn't
'cause
test
it's
that
yellow.
one part of it.
It's because it's yellow.
So their adaptability across diverse environments from deserts to cold highlands has made them a staple of pastoral and subsistence farming worldwide. So goats are browsers rather than grazers, often preferring shrubs and woody plants over grass, a trait which makes them valuable for clearing invasive or unwanted vegetation. A callback to the previous episode of this where I talked about how they were used for like kudzu, clearing out kudzu. It takes like 5 years and it's a whole subscription thing, but you can get them to clear out like a field of kudzu. So biology, the eye shape. They have pronounced rectangular pupils, providing them with a remarkably wide field of vision up to 340 degrees, enhancing their ability to detect predators from virtually any direction without moving their heads. So they can like be munching and know what's going on back there. These pupils are even more extreme than those of other prey animals like sheep, resulting in an almost panoramic view. The horizontal orientation also limits sun glare from above, enhancing their focus on the terrain below, essential for navigating steep, rugged environments safely. What do you think so far, guys?
I think that sheep suck.
Hey, whoa!
This is a pro goat rally, and I'm gonna talk some trash about sheep.
Carry on, sir.
They don't have to wipe their butts because they're made of toilet paper. It's like they poop and they automatically are wiped. There you go. Take that, sheep people. Goats.
Oh, boy. So onto their horns, which we always see portrayed as evil, which I could see like why they're kind of like, intimidating to see. I mean, that's kind of their point. But they served multiple purposes that aren't generally aggression, from defense against predators, it's defensive really, it's a good shield, to simple dominance displays within the herd. They're anything but evil. Goat horns are composed of keratin, the same stuff as your hair and nails, with the bony core varying significantly in shape and size across breeds and genders. Horns also assist with temperature regulation. Now, that was one I didn't know, as their blood supply aids in dissipating heat. This combination of curiosity, resourcefulness, and defensive horn use often appears disobedient or mischievous. Like I said, like when you see them, you just know, like, back up. And then onto their hooves. They possess split hooves, which enhance grip and balance on uneven or steep surfaces like palm trees. The structure of their hooves, hard outer shells with soft inner pads, enables them to grip small ledges and rocky outcropping effectively. Their hooves, and here's another new one for me, their hooves can even rotate slightly, allowing precise adjustment for stability, which is just critical for, cliffs and stuff. Isn't that interesting? Like, they can rotate those little things.
No, it's fascinating. Goats are awesome.
They're also compassionate and curious lovers.
Whoa, I didn't see that in any of my research on their behavior.
You're looking at the wrong sites.
Okay. Well, I can't get those.
Which
sites
side are
in
we going
Virginia.
to?
There's also sheep on that site that I'm talking about.
Anyway, so their climbing abilities. The muscular forelimbs, hind legs, and flexible joints of goats allow them to climb near vertical surfaces with impressive agility. Their balance combined with the springy, bounding gait enables them to traverse rugged landscapes swiftly. This agility supports their survival, providing an advantage in escaping predators and accessing high elevation food sources and shelter.
I got nothing.
I think the conclusion of this is going to be that they're the goat. Like, you're saying
Well,
all
thanks
these
for coming out, guys.
you're saying all these impressive things, and I'm like, this is like the Michael Jordan of animals.
No, you're nailing it. I mean, this is why they were so venerated back in the day, especially in ancient Sumeria, where, like you said, there's nothing out there. You had to rely on the Fertile Crescent, and then out of nowhere you have these creatures who are able to survive that because they eat the dry stuff. They're able to traverse these crazy places that other people can't get to.
These goats are
and they
outliving us.
keep coming back.
Yeah.
And they keep coming back, and
Yeah.
they provide meat, and they provide milk, and they're always doing just fine. It's one of the main reasons that they were sacrificed. It's like here you have this barren desert, and you have these things that are able to just thrive, like they're just handpicked by the gods, and we're going to sacrifice one of the best ones to it, throw it to the fire to, Baal.
Maybe we were going to sacrifice them because we're worried they were going to take over.
There you go.
Because
That's
of
what
how
happens.
resilient they are, they'll eventually evolve and destroy humanity.
I think they were just mainly sacrificed for dinner.
Planet
which
of the
was
Planet
same
of the
thing I was
Goats.
trying to do.
We have like a Planet of the Goats thing potentially happening.
Well, put me to sleep like Fry from Futurama. Let me wake up in a few thousand years.
The goats are all, they're all like anthropomorphic, like that one I showed.
They're just going to be walking around like Black Phillip, having debt and credit cards. It's going to suck.
No, you guys did it wrong too. So and as I said, their diet, their ruminants, like cow, they've got like a four-chambered stomach. They able to consume plants that are even toxic to other species.
They eat metal. Like, I remember a aluminum can being eaten by a goat when I was a kid, and they're able to do that.
That's why they're metal.
That's where we came up with the idea for recycling.
Oh man, that is metal. That is metal. So and back to their behavior again, as we keep saying, they're naturally independent and curious. But this is from Dwayne was hinting at, their drive to survive. They're constantly trying to find like new, better sources, of food or shelter or what have you, and that's how they find those cliffs up.
I mean, they're not quite a xenomorph, but they're a really well-made evolutionary animal.
I kind of want to see that now, though. I kind of want to see a goat xenomorph.
I'm sure it's out there.
I wish I had that.
So, you hear that, Wayland Industries? Make it happen.
There you go. And then here is the kicker. Coming back to, again, what I said started all of this. That was unintentional, but I'm delighted by it.
That was a good pun with the kicking.
Thank you. The use of incense and smoke, and this is kind of a more recent evolutionary thing. So some goats have adapted to a form of self-smoking, positioning themselves downwind of incense or bonfires and inhaling or exhaling the smoke over their bodies. You know, this behavior appears to be an attempt to ward off flies and insects, similar to dust bathing and other animals. I think we've all seen, you know, our dog rolling around in the dust and stuff. And, you know, they've adapted this, I thought I had it written down, but I don't see it, but like around like the Himalayas and like India and stuff. It's fascinating. It's like they're smoking. The goats are smoking.
I'd like to know the context of each image of the goat smokings, because I'm sure some of them people are prepping them for sacrifice, giving them the luxurious lifestyle before it's curtains.
Goodness, I wonder. I do wonder.
Yeah, if it's hickory smoke that it's inhaling, then
Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of that's opium. I'm sure some of them are intentionally getting high, like for sure.
Yeah,
They've been being worshipped for thousands of years. I'm sure there's been some people who have collectively gathered a specifically awesome Black Phillip looking goat and adorned it with flowers and gave it all the hashish it wanted and let it rain down for 3 or 4 days before a giant feast for the community.
Well, that goat on the lower left there definitely knows how to smoke. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't
It
have
looks
a
kind of
Marlboro.
emo.
Yeah. So, which brings me to the Ouroboros, you know, the countercultural reclamation of the goat. From the 80s to now, the goat has been reclaimed by countercultural movements, from heavy metal to neo-occultism. Folks have reclaimed the goat as a symbol of rebellion, turning the demonized image back into a symbol of personal freedom, particularly in heavy metal, alternative art, like I said, the neo-occult, neo-paganism, as a symbol of rebellion, opposition to traditional norms, and expression of personal freedom. The image of Baphomet and other goat-like demonic symbols have been used extensively in music and art as emblems of defiance. It's playful irreverence, you know, towards authority and convention. Musicians, magicians, artists now use this goat imagery to signify their own breaking away from the normal authority expected of them. Yeah, so it's getting quite a comeback, you know.
As a sign of rebellion, I would agree. The mainstream Judeo-Christian society we live in venerates the sheep and the shepherd, as you said earlier in your comments. So the goat is by nature the opposition to that, the self-independence, the rebellion, as you said.
Yeah, it's really cool. And then on the other side of the spectrum, most recently in the postmodern age, the goat has been revered as ironically cute, or cuteness with an edge. While once seen as sinister and menacing, there are folks now that appreciate them for their quirky, independent behavior, combined with the very features that were once demonized. You know, they're now seen as an emblem of creepy cute. You know, viral videos, memes, and even products like yoga with goats all transform that traditional fear into a sort of playful, self-aware satire.
Is that why they call Simone Biles the goat? Because she's like 4'7", but she's also kind of scary. She wears a goat around her neck, like she has a goat charm.
Maybe you're onto something.
Like sports and hip hop took goat for greatest of all time, and it's pretty well accepted.
Yeah. It's taken on an even, you know.
We're gonna call that
layer.
Satanism invading pop culture.
No. After all, we've demonized an animal for simply being a better survivor than we are. Maybe the real message is that we're jealous of goats. Goats have climbed a long journey through history, and I say we show a little RESPCT to these Rascals is.
That's too much spelling for me, sir.
If anyone's still here sober enough to understand.
Yes.
I say we feed a bunch of goats human milk as a way of thanking them.
That's right. There we go. There we go. You know, I've been trying to get Hugh Milk back on to sponsor me, so like maybe we'll look into that.
I'm down with it.
Awesome. So on that note, I believe it's raffle time.
Flaffle time.
Rye, you got them raffle coupons? Oh, hello. Thanks, Alyssa. Alyssa Skeleton. Bum 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 bum. Is that going to give me a flag? No. None of them fell. None of them fell.
Drum roll.
You don't got the Jeopardy theme on that one?
No, if I wish I had a drum roll though. A drum roll would be a nice little effect to have.
You got it, the one in your hand. That's the one. The one with the number.
6517865. They also, I think they wrote their name here. Mark. Is Mark here?
Mock.
Mark, we got some prizes for you.
Lovely.
They're around here somewhere.
Where are the prizes?
They're in my pants.
What? His pants and 1 gallon of goat milk.
Oh, that's not goat milk, baby.
It is not goat milk.
Took me a long time to fill that gallon.
Oh.
Lord of mercy. All right, so raffle time. We've done that. So let's move on to the musical solution of the night. We have our very own in-house talent, XP38 Music.
Hell yeah, I love R2D2.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back. This is going to look cool. I've been looking forward to how this is going to look on the camera. And you can go ahead and turn down the mics. All the mics off? Yeah. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 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 1, 2, 3. Testing. All right. What is that thing they say? Civilis? What do they say? Civilis?
I like how you're giving the Eskimo kisses with your clown nose.
But you said Civilis? Yeah. Civilis? I don't know. I'm not. Are you guys hearing that? Everyone hearing that? Trying it now. Trying it now. Testing. Testing.
You guys hear that? Is that working?
Can't hear it yet.
Testing. Testing.
There you go, it's better.
You do me one more favor.
What's that?
Plug in that cord that fell into that.
You should crank it.
Yeah, make sure. Crank it
This one goes where?
into the, I don't know where it is, but on your left side. Where's it?
Right here on this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yep.
It was working before. Man. Hello. Oh shit. That's a little too loud there.
No, we want to laugh.
Maybe I was.
Turn your guitar up.
How's that? That's better. Okay. Hi, I'm XP38, and this is some music I wrote. Thank you. This QR code right here on the guitar case leads to my Bandcamp, where I have like a lot of music I've made and produced over the years, but it's a lot of random stuff. But here I'm gonna play a few songs for y'all. How many songs am I doing? How long do I have? All right. All right, this first song is called Divided State. We roam around like zombies, blind and dumb, taking harmful pills just to feel numb. Taught how to think, believing what we're told. Stuck in the cycle way too long, it's getting really old. We always keep fighting amongst ourselves, doesn't make a damn cause no one excels. Left wing, right wing, this conflict is absurd. You're both controlled by the same dang bird. Land of the crazy and mentally insane, self-centered fools with nothing to gain. This is how the whole world views a free country. Welcome to this divided state of hypocrisy. From religious zealots to racist bigots, always spilling bullshit, always playing spin. If we're so great, how come we don't think smart to see the game is rigged from the very start? Stuck in a rat race. How did this country foster far from grace? The only thing keeping us stuck together are empty hopes and promises, fearing for the nether. This is I forgot the words. That was Divided State. Thank you. Let's see. This one's not finished, but I'm gonna play it anyway. I got a little bit of it going in my head. It's called "Slice of Life," and it's the melody for one of the theme songs for the show here tonight, and it's pretty good. So I'm gonna play this one. I got no sense in my bank account. I'm talking about. I'm so tired of the bullcrap and clouds. You losers know about my slice of life's about. I got distracted. That's all I got there for that one. A man, oh shit. A man in the mirror of my sins, telling me it's okay to give in. His eyes are black as night. I don't know if this is right. If I do what you ask, will you go away? I don't want to wear the mask. Is there truth behind what you say? Choked by my own reflection, hated for my imperfection. I only want us to be free, but now we're stuck being me. That's it. That's Mirror of My Sins. Thank you. Let's see. Give him the goat.
Give him the goat.
What? Kiss the go-goat?
Hell yeah.
You heard that song?
Kiss the goat.
Yeah. No, I'll be all right. Let's see. I don't think I did. Damn. I got one about zombies. Oh God, I'm not allowed to do one here. They told us we couldn't swear. Goat, what do I note? Goat, I'm a goat. That might be it for tonight. I'll play y'all out. Yep. Thank y'all for coming out.
Yeah, and so I've also got the QR code up right on your screen right now if you're watching from home. Yeah, definitely check it out. He's got lots of cool stuff. It's, all over the genre map. It's amazing stuff.
Another round of applause for XP38. He changed the lyrics to GOAT for this specific
He actually
cast.
he changed the lyrics on a couple of them. He really cleaned it up, and it was on the fly, so that's really cool.
Clean and goats.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
All right, so moving on to our plugs. Yeah, so we hope you had fun tonight, folks. Let's seal this show up. Dwayne, Joe, let the folks know where they can find more of you.
That's what you meant by plugs?
Yeah. Man.
I'm getting hair plugs for Christmas.
Oh, well, I mean, I wish you the best on that.
So Christmas, come look at me. I'm going to be a new man. I'm going to feel like a kid again.
Oh, those plugs.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was about.
Wait,
I thought about
guys,
different
wait.
ones.
I don't have
No,
anything
guys.
going on, you guys.
Matt knows what I'm talking about.
No,
My man.
It's like you let people know. You plug in the copy of like what you.
Tell them how you're touring with Gallagher and
it's
Gilbert
me.
Godfrey.
It's me and the corpse of Gallagher. I'm generally found at Blue Ridge Comedy Club in Bristol, Tennessee. I'm very regular there, despite my irregularity. And other than that, I'm in Damascus. I live in a small town. I bake now for a restaurant called The Tipsy Bear. It's a new restaurant that just opened in town by a friend of mine, and he's a nice young man with a family, not unlike myself, and it's small businesses working together, and it's beautiful.
That's wonderful.
Fantastic.
That's wonderful.